The first generation of Lenovo's ThinkPad X1 tablet was decent, but it had its fair share of flaws. A year later, the latest version has seen little more than a chipset refresh with a few component updates. Is that enough to remain competitive? A year ago in June 2016, we reviewed the ThinkPad X1 tablet, which was Lenovo's first attempt at a Microsoft Surface-style detachable convertible, appropriately laced with some business-grade enhancements. These included relatively easy maintenance, a revised kickstand design, and mil-spec testing which supposedly should result in a more resilient machine. However, the device met more than its share of challenges, with notable deficiencies in a range of areas from battery life to high temperatures and disappointing sustained CPU/GPU performance under stress. Surprisingly, however, in spite of these and other various criticisms, not much in terms of basic design has changed going from the ThinkPad X1 tablet from last year to 2017's model. The tablet is still practically identical to the 2016 variety, with merely a chipset refresh and some marginally improved internal components jumping out on the spec sheet. The price also still remains significant, $1,499 for today's review configuration, which features an Intel Core i5-7Y54, 8GB of RAM, Intel HD Graphics 615, and an NVMe SSD. Is it possible that the jump from Skylake to Kaby Lake and the handful of other component-level upgrades might resolve most of our previous complaints? Let's dig in and find out. As we alluded to previously, hardly anything has changed from last year's ThinkPad X1 tablet. The tablet retains the same construction materials, magnesium and PCGF hybrid, a strengthened plastic frequently used in ThinkPad construction, and it still feels equally rigid. In other words, it's relatively sturdy, though notably more malleable than the unibody Microsoft Surface Pro 4 or, say, recent iPads. This is partially a consequence of Lenovo's insistence on serviceability as a cornerstone of business machine design philosophy, a decision with which we admittedly wholly agree. We'll get deeper into that subject in our maintenance section later on, however. The tablet should also resist display scratches and hopefully cracks thanks to the incorporation of Gorilla Glass 4. Size and weight also remains predictably consistent, just 1.08 kilograms with a small footprint of 293 by 210 by 9 millimeters, obviously larger while opened with the kickstand extended. Speaking of which, as we discussed in last year's review, the X1's kickstand opens somewhat backwards in comparison to a Surface Pro, which allows for more comfortable lap-based usage. A small switch on the rear of the device releases the kickstand from its holding position. One major drawback to the two-piece detachable design of the Surface-style convertibles is that they are very difficult to lift and carry one-handed. So that's something the user will need to get used to. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos.